Hi United fans, Manchester United head coach Michael Carrick has faced the media ahead of this Sunday's huge Premier League clash against Ipswich Town at Old Trafford. And there is plenty to talk about following today's training session at Carrington. After a hugely disappointing opening day defeat, the pressure is already on United to respond in front of the home supporters. And Carrick's latest comments have given us a clearer picture of the squad situation heading into the weekend. Manchester United desperately need a reaction on Sunday. Losing the opening Premier League fixture 2-0 against Hull City was certainly not the start anybody around Old Trafford wanted. And now the Reds have the perfect opportunity to put things right in front of the home faithful. There is no hiding from the fact that expectations are massive at Manchester United. The players have to show character, intensity and personality because Old Trafford will be expecting a completely different performance this time around. For me, this is not simply about getting 3 points. It is about showing the supporters that the defeat on the opening weekend was a wake-up call rather than a sign of deeper problems. Michael Carrick has now provided some important injury updates, particularly concerning Amad Diallo and new signing Carlos Baleba. Unfortunately, Carrick confirmed that Amad will not be involved against Ipswich Town, with the winger expected to remain sidelined for a little while longer. Carrick said, "Amad won't be involved. He'll be out for a little bit longer." The positive news, however, is that the club is hopeful Amad could return before the upcoming international break. That will certainly be welcomed by United supporters because Amad remains an important attacking option, particularly when Manchester United need creativity, pace and unpredictability in the final third. Amad's absence is a blow because Manchester United need as many attacking weapons as possible right now. His ability to receive the ball between the lines, attack defenders and create opportunities can make a difference in tight Premier League games. The important thing is that United do not rush him back. If the medical team believes he needs more time, then the sensible decision is to allow him to recover properly rather than risk making the problem worse. There is a long season ahead, and United will need Amad fit and firing for the battles to come. There was also encouraging news regarding Mason Mount. Carrick confirmed that Mount is back around the first-team group and has trained this week, describing his return as a real positive. That is exactly the kind of update United fans wanted to hear. Mount has had a frustrating period with injuries, and his availability could give Carrick another important option in midfield and attacking areas. If he is considered fit enough to be involved against Ipswich, his energy, movement and pressing could be extremely valuable. But United supporters should probably remain realistic. Training with the group does not automatically mean Mount is ready to play 90 minutes. Carrick will have to decide whether to start him, use him from the bench, or continue managing his minutes. Personally, I would rather see Mount gradually introduced than risk another setback. The season is only beginning, and keeping key players fit has to be a priority. The other major piece of injury news concerns Carlos Baleba. Manchester United have only just completed the signing of the highly rated Cameroonian midfielder, but unfortunately Carrick has confirmed that Baleba will miss the Ipswich game. The new signing is dealing with a small ankle issue and is expected to be out for a couple of weeks. According to reports from Simon Stone, United are hopeful that Amad can return before the international break, while Baleba is expected to require a little more time. Of course, it is frustrating that United fans will have to wait before seeing Baleba make his competitive debut, especially after all the excitement surrounding his arrival. But there is absolutely no reason to panic. The most important thing is getting him fully fit. United did not spend heavily to bring Baleba to Old Trafford just to rush him into one Premier League game and potentially lose him for much longer, and Carrick was clearly delighted with the signing. Speaking about Baleba, the United boss said, "We're delighted to have signed him. Huge potential, the quality he has, the attributes he has, balances the group we've got. Different strengths, different combinations. There's so much more to come as well. Now, turning to the transfer window, things remain incredibly interesting around Old Trafford. The summer window is approaching its final stages, and United continue to be linked with several players as the club looks to finalise the squad. One of the biggest talking points is Jean-Philippe Mateta. Manchester United reportedly like the Crystal Palace striker, and he has emerged as a potential option to replace Joshua Zirkzee if the Dutch forward leaves Old Trafford. Mateta certainly fits the profile of a traditional Premier League number 9. He is powerful, physical, experienced in English football, and capable of occupying centre-backs. However, according to the latest reports, a deal looks extremely difficult at this stage. Crystal Palace's valuation is reportedly significantly higher than what Manchester United are prepared to pay for a striker this late in the window. That creates a major problem. And this is where I want to ask you, United fans, would you actually want Manchester United to sign Mateta? There is an argument for it. He knows the Premier League, he can lead the line, he offers a physical presence, and he could give United something different in attack. But should Manchester United spend a huge amount of money on a 29-year-old striker simply because the club needs another number 9? Personally, I would be very careful. United have already made significant investments in the squad. If the price is too high, perhaps the club should walk away rather than overpay. Sometimes the best transfer is the one you decide not to make. Joshua Zirkzee's future is another major storyline. He is increasingly being viewed as the most likely senior player in Carrick's squad to leave Old Trafford. If Zirkzee does depart, Manchester United will need to decide whether they already have enough options to cover the position or whether another striker must be brought in. This is a crucial decision. If Zirkzee leaves and United do not replace him, the pressure on the remaining attacking players becomes even greater. But if the club cannot find the right player at the right price, bringing in someone simply for the sake of having another striker would also be questionable. Then we have Alejandro Balde. Manchester United reportedly like the Barcelona left-back, but the latest information suggests United would only pursue that avenue if the Spain international became available on loan. Barcelona, however, remain adamant that they want to sell the 22-year-old rather than loan him out. That leaves United with a difficult situation. Bold would certainly be an exciting addition. He has pace, athleticism, and the ability to contribute going forward. And at just 22 years old, he has plenty of room to develop further. But if Barcelona are demanding a permanent transfer while United only want a loan, the two clubs are currently operating from completely different positions. And then there is Lewis Hall. Manchester United have reportedly received strong buy-in from the Newcastle left-back, but a move this summer appears increasingly unlikely. Newcastle's valuation is reportedly around £70 million, which United are unlikely to meet at this stage. A late inquiry remains possible, but the stronger expectation appears to be that Hall could become a target for 2027. Personally, I think this is where Manchester United have to show discipline. The club cannot simply pay £70 million for every player it likes. If the valuation is considered too high, United should be prepared to wait. The left-back position remains an interesting area for Carrick. United clearly want to improve the position, but the club must make sure any signing is someone who genuinely improves the team, rather than simply adding another name to the squad. So, United fans, we now have a very interesting weekend ahead. Amad Diallo is out and will be missing for a little longer. Carlos Baleba will also miss the Ipswich game with a minor ankle problem and could be sidelined for a couple of weeks. But there is positive news with Mason Mount, who has returned to group training and could potentially be involved. The transfer window remains alive, with Mateta admired but apparently too expensive. Bold wanted only on loan, while Barcelona prefer a permanent sale, and Lewis Hall looking increasingly like a 2027 possibility. And above all, Manchester United have a Premier League match to win. After the disappointment against Hull City, there can be no excuses on Sunday. Old Trafford needs a response. The players need to show hunger, courage and quality. Carrick needs to get his selection right, and the supporters need something to believe in. For me, the biggest question is not simply who starts against Ipswich. The bigger question is, what kind of Manchester United are we going to see? Are we going to see a side playing with urgency from the opening whistle? Are we going to see Bruno Fernandes taking control, the midfield competing for every second ball, the forwards attacking space?